can do waiting I love, waiting you love, oh. No be waiting I love, oh. Waiting I love, I go do what we done right, oh. Go no be vodka, Mr. Money Changer. But I know I know the ways that Mr. Another one I go take and do waiting I love, waiting you love, oh. No be waiting I love, oh. Waiting I love, I go do what we done right, oh. Go no be vodka, Mr. Money Changer. But I know the ways that Mr. Waiting people they talk. Want to get a shakeleti love. See love when I wanna get another one. I go take and do waiting I love, waiting you love, oh. No be waiting I love, oh. Waiting I love, I go do what we done right, oh. Go no be vodka, Mr. Money Changer. But I know the ways that Mr.
Very good afternoon to you, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our very first edition of Touch on the Show with me, Fiifi. Asante-Mparey is the name, which doesn't change. And welcome to Hit Africa TV. This is going to be a weekly show, and it's going to be one of the most liberal political show. We're going to talk about the left wing, the right wing, and also look at the center ground. So we're going to be very, very realistic in our approach and very, very comprehension when it comes to our approach. Once again, welcome to our first ever edition. Be part of the history. And my name, as I said, is Fiifi Asante-Mparey. First on the news, we'll be looking at the most trending issues that is happening in our country, Ghana, and we will be talking about it. First on the news today, we'll be talking about the issue of passport acquisition in Ghana. Minister Asante-Mparey, who is giving the ultimatum, and I love the video when I saw it, giving the ultimatum to people working in the passport office who have been there over a year for various agencies to change them or take them out latest by Monday. And I love her approach. What another approach, a very powerful and a strong woman. So we will be looking into that. Also, we'll be looking at the NPP primaries. At the moment, it's all NPP. They've stolen the show. They've taken over the stage in Ghana, going through their super delegates all the way to the select flag bearer. So we'll be also looking into the NPP primaries. The most two important things that I want us to have a look at with regards to that primaries is promises which are coming from some of these delegates. One from Dr. Bawumia and also from Alan Kwejo Chirematin, formerly or popularly known as Alan Cash. He's also making promises. So there is a lot on the waves. He's making the airwaves because of the promises that he's just made. So let's start with our issue of acquisition of the passport. If my producer could put that video of the minister on for me, for our viewers to have.
The different agencies and my own ministry of foreign affairs, when I come to the passport office, this is a very unusual way of engaging. I found it necessary to come here to engage in this way and not visit you in your offices as usual, because I want to see everybody who works here. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs is the sole ministry responsible for the issuance of passports. However, in doing so, we use other agencies, and I'm told there are 9 agencies that are present at any passport application center. So invariably, what happens is that the ministry staff are made up of the OIC and vetting officers in some cases, and also those in the printing rooms. But this is augmented by officers from all your agencies. I have written to all agencies that any officer who has been here for more than 1 year, which is what it should be replaced. This is because we all know the saying that familiarity breeds contempt. We all know what's happening. There have been various reports in the media, on social media, in the mainstream media, of people's experiences, even as we stood here waiting for you to gather. The kind of comments that came from the members of the public who are here as Ghanaians to apply for passports. They are not here because they want to be here. They are here because they need passports to travel, to renew their passports. Why should they be treated in a way that is not what is expected of people who are giving a service? You are not doing them a favor. In fact, their passport fees and the taxes of Ghanaians pay you all respectfully. So when they come to you, treat them well. This cannot continue. I always say that there's too much happening that really shouldn't be happening within the passport acquisition system. if we talk about Goro people, these Goro people are outsiders. They do not work on their own. Because if the Goro person collects somebody's money, they need to work with somebody from inside to change the dates. They work with people from inside. I'm not saying all of you, but there are some of you who are engaged in it. And this should stop. The blame is always on the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Meanwhile, it's the agencies, and I'm sure even some of our staff are involved. Public servants who are supposed to be giving public service to Ghanaians. The Vice President has led the digitalization effort with my support and all of my officers to put in place an online system. Now the online system is being manipulated so that people can make money off it. There's an investigation going on and some names have been mentioned. And there are people from outside, a cartel who are working with people from inside. Anybody who has been here for more than a year, from Monday, please do not come back because you've been changed. We want to bring some sanity. Every time politicians are corrupt, politicians are corrupt. Meanwhile, it's some public civil servants who will do things that shouldn't be done, and then they put it on politicians. We come, we do the right thing. I'm trying to bring sanity into the passport system, but no. I'm praying for that day when national identification will be issued to every single Ghanaian. And that day is coming. I'm told that they've issued to over 15 million already, and it's still counting. Then no other agency will be allowed into a passport office because there will be no need. Because when the person comes and they key in their name and their national ID number, all their details will come up, and therefore there will be no need to have any other agency. Maybe apart from the printing room people, nobody will be necessary anymore. So I beg you, do this work from your heart and stop making money off people. Number one. Number two, treat the people who come here, the kind of comments that I've heard, it's not the best. Treat them well. They come here for today, you won't see them again, because apart from coming for the passport, they don't come here again. So I thank you. I needed to have this eyeball-to-eyeball conversation, not come to your offices. I needed to do this because it's becoming very serious. And many of you are under investigation and you are not aware. 9.
So that was Minister of Foreign Affairs, Minister Ayoko Botre. Very, very powerful woman, calling the shots and calling the spade a spade. And we love that. We want to see a lot more of our ministers doing this, going on the field. I will call her approach as the Atta Mills approach, the late President Atta Mills approach. We all remember that our late President Atta Mills did similar things. He stormed the harbor. He was hands-on president. And if we have had a lot of such an exemplary leaders, I think Ghana would have gotten somewhere at this time. So this is something positive, and I love it from Minister Ayoko Botre. He actually stormed the passport office, spoke from her heart, give them an ultimatum, and what have you. Now let's look into the issues of passport acquisition in Ghana. And also let's look into how we'll be able to curb some of these problems that she raised. Because these problems have been there from donkey days and it's still going on. We haven't been able to resolve it. Please stay with us, share your views, type in something, comment. And at the moment, we don't have a live telephone that will come into the studio, but please, your comment will also be read and it will keep us going. So please stay with us and share in your comment with us. Thank you. So the issue we have with regards to Ghanaian passport acquisition is simple. According to the minister, there are cartel outside working with another cartel inside. So we have people who are government employed. She did mention they come from various agencies, but what are these agencies? These agencies are, some of them are customs, some of them are the national security, police, some come from BNI or now NIB, and what have you. All these intelligence have men in the passport office, and all these bodies or departments have men in the passport office. Why? Because they share information to be able to get anybody who tries to obtain Ghanaian passport in an illegal way if they're not Ghanaians. So there's a lot of data sharing, information sharing within the passport office, with the, apart from the printing office itself, or the print, where the printing takes place. I believe it's called the printing office. So what happens is these various agencies send their men to passport office. And some of these men have been there way too long than expected. Hence, they have been very familiar with the system. Hence, they could go outside and sell their presence in that passport office, or the working relationship in that passport office, to others, to let them know that, look, this is where I work. If you need any assistance, please get in touch with me. And I personally believe there are fees involved. We all know money changes hands one way or the other, and they get these things done. This has been going on for donkey of years. And when this happens, people who actually apply passport via the new online system, their passport never get issued, because you get people jumping the queue all the time because they have inside men. And it's pathetic. But the question I have is very simple. Why is it that anytime we introduce a policy, we leave the policies so loose? The policies are not watertight. And when we leave them so loose, people like the government, people like the cartel, as the minister referred to, then get the loophole to operate within such an institution as foreign affairs. That is my question to the minister. I get her, and I totally understand what she wants to do. She wants to fight corruption. She wants to make sure the system works. She is one of those who have come from this actual administration and show that she actually is a hands-on and she wants to make things work. But we still have questions. Don't we think we've left some of these policies so loose and we haven't actually watertightened it? And hence, these government and this cartel, as she referred to, have been able to get their hands or get a feet in there and operating illegally. So that is the question to the minister. Unfortunately, we don't have anybody from the Ministry of Affairs to be able to speak to on this matter, or for us to be able to pose questions to them with regards to this matter. Digitalization has been introduced, which is great. You go online, you apply for your passport, it gives you a rough idea when passport will be arrived. But unfortunately, is not coming. And the minister doesn't just touch on the delay and the tinkering of the system, but she also spoke about customer service, which I personally will applaud her for, because we all know as Ghanaians, customer services in many institutions is absolutely watered down or non-existent. There are areas, or there are some of these institutions, the customer service is watered down, and there are some of these institutions that it doesn't even exist. It's non-existent. Non-existent. I've personally witnessed this in the passport office myself, my personal experience. Years back, I was at the passport office myself to acquire a passport. And when you see how people were spoken to, I wasn't spoken to badly, but I overheard some of these workers talking to people, and it was bad. So I'm happy that the minister is also driving home the importance of customer service, because our reluctancy to change when it comes to customer service across our ministry engaged, and not just that, even across individual or private businesses. We have same issues in banking sectors. At the moment, the banking sector, I believe the customer service there is improving, because I've had some fantastic services from the various banks. Why? Because people have choices. If you don't give them the great customer service, they will move as well. But when it comes to passport office institutions, people can't move elsewhere. They don't have a choice, because we have a sole institution that deals with a particular thing. For instance, Ministry of Foreign Affairs dealing with passport. You can't go anywhere else and get your passport. Hence, you have to go through being spoken to badly, being provided by bad service, even though you are paying for the service. And I'm happy that Mr. mentioned that acquisition of passport is a source of income for government. Hence, when people pay for that service and they come to the passport office chasing their passport, we should not think that, or the people who work there should not think that they're doing these Ghanaians a favor. No, not at all. But rather, they are doing themselves a favor by delivering a great service, and at the end of it all, for Ghana to also make money from such services to pay them, the employees, the public servants who work there. So I'm very happy the minister is touching on some of these things. We've spoken about some of these things for a long time. For a long time. And you don't get the result. You don't get this being driven home by ministers who have authority. Minister Ayoko Botre, kudos to you. Absolutely kudos to you. Well done. Bravo. Because I believe it's a step in the right direction. We are looking for a lot more of such ministers who are going to be hands-on, who are going to go into their various ministry when they hear of corruption, when they hear that something is not ticking, something is not right, then they will be able to actually address the situation on the ground. On the ground, not sitting in your office. On the ground, address the situation on the ground. That is what we want. You are exemplary leader. You have shown exemplary leadership. And I love that to bits. I love it to bits. The minister spoke about the online system. the digitalization which is being put out that people are supposed to follow. I'm going to do a bit of comparisons here to see acquisition of passport in the Western world and acquisition of passport in our country, Ghana. Why have we put a digitalized system in place, but yet still individuals have to walk to the passport office to chase passports out? Because when you come to this part of the world, when the system is digitalized, you pay, you go online, you pay, you submit all your documentation online, and when the documentation are submitted, you sit back, Royal Mail through recorded delivery or other agencies. Sometimes they use DX Mail, which is a government approved mail delivering company, or Royal Mail. You there, your bell rings. Here is your passport. Can you give me a signature? You sign, you take your passport. It's as simple as that. Now we have put a digitalization in place. We are meant to apply the passport online. How do we then deliver the passport to people who have applied them online, whether they are in the cities, whether they are in villages, what have you? This is one thing that I always talk about. Sometimes we put a policy in place. Fantastic. When you look at the policy itself on paper, it sounds great. But in implementation, you realize that there are hurdles. You have issues to actually deal with those policies. The digitalization of application of the passport was easy. Go online, pay your money or your fees, submit, if it is your old passport, submit the old passport number and take your photograph. I'm not even sure over here you can do that. You can over there in Ghana, over here in United Kingdom, I know you'll be able to download or take a photograph and then upload it, and that's it. That photograph they will get the required photograph, or they give you the required dimensions. That photograph is uploaded and that's it. And they have companies like Snappy Snap. When you go to Snappy Snap, they will be able to take a photograph of you and give you an online code. So you use that code in the passport acquisition. So they then what the passport office does is they enter that code and it gives them the digital image that you went and took from the Photoshop, and then this downloaded into your passport and then it gets sent to you. We don't have that in Ghana. We don't have that in Ghana. And even if we do have that in Ghana, we have issue with address systems, because not every single Ghanaian lives in a city where these passports will be able to mail back to them. It doesn't happen. We have villages, we have towns, and even in some of the cities, the way these properties are not, they are scattered. They are scattered everywhere. How do we locate individuals and hand over the passports to them? So somebody will say that, oh, the digitalization takes out the hurdle of the application. So now we need to look at submitting the passport back to its rightful owners. And that is where we should have started. That is where we should have started. This is the only issue I have with the vice president digitalization system. Even though I'm praising them, where there are flaws in the system as well, I just want to highlight those flaws. Because now it still takes a person to walk to the passport office to take the biometric, or to do the biometrics, instead of over here in the West, they have the post office that could do the biometrics for you and send it to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs for the passport to be issued. So maybe, and I'm just giving them an idea, maybe they have to actually look into a service like the post office in Ghana or any other agencies or stakeholders who will be able to do this kind of service. They will be able to do the biometric service, and they will also have what is called passport centers, where when the passport is issued, these passports will be sent to. So you go there with a reference number and a ticket to collect your passport back. So in submission, online submission, you might be given a reference number and maybe a code that you can print out. And when the passport is issued and sent to your locator center, an email or a message is sent to you. So you go with that message with a QR code and the reference number to pick up your passport. This will streamline the service, and I believe it will take people walking into the passport office and crowding the area, getting the kind of reception and the service that they get there. Because it could be the workers are also overwhelmed, even though I'm not saying them being overwhelmed and them being overworked and having too many people maybe putting pressure on them warrants the kind of customer service they give. But we also have to give them a benefit of the doubt, because they're humans. They're humans. So we need to look at all these and then maybe be able to bring other stakeholders on board to make sure that digitalization works properly. This is one thing that this particular NPP administration has been criticized about. They've spoken a lot about digitalization, but digitalization is not complete when you do not look at all the loopholes and bring other agencies or other stakeholders on board, other people on board, to ensure that you have a streamlined service, a very smooth service. And this has always been the issue with our policies and laws in Ghana. Every time we come out with we introduce a policy or we introduce a law, we leave the policy and the law a gap for it to be actually abused. And human beings will always abuse a system so far as they know there is a loophole. And because of that, the white people who brought in digitalization, that we are copying the template from. You see how the service work here? They know that if we allow just a normal passport service, that everybody should apply. This is how much we charge a person to acquire a passport in the West. There will be a loophole for people who know people who are in urgent need of their passport, and then they will begin to make these calls to people. Hence, the person who brought in the digitalization with acquisition of passport and important documentation in this part of the serious jurisdiction, which I call it, have realized what we can do is we might have people who are in urgent need. So we've introduced a priority service. We might have even people who are in same-day service need. So they will have few passport walk-in centers where you have same-day service. Your passport will be issued, but you are going to pay at a premium. If you want a same-day service, you will end up paying 3-4 times the normal passport fee. If you want a priority service where your passport should be issued to you within a week or two, you're going to pay 2 times or 3 times more than the normal day. So they've introduced these services. Why? They know that some people are wealthy and some people are happy to pay for such services. And the money ends up in the hands of the government. It goes into government coffers to build a nation. But no, in Ghana, in our country, we will introduce digitalization, but we've left one service. It's a standard passport service. And when you do a standard passport service, there will be the need for people who require very, very urgent passport or urgent service. And what would they do? When they do not have options, they try to create one, or they try to look for the avenue to corrupt the system. And the only avenue to corrupt the system is to pick up a phone and begin to call other people they know within the passport office. Then as soon as those calls begin to come in, those people who works there then realize that, hold it here. What we can actually do here is we can make money off these people. So they also go out and then look for what the minister termed as Goro men. So they become the intermediate or the mediator between the people who requires the service and the people who works in there. And they begin to abuse the system because they take the money that is supposed to go into government coffers. Now that money is given out to individuals on the street and people who working inside the passport office that the government is paying already are taking extra money as well. But we can introduce priority service and all this money will be going into government coffers. We cry as a nation that we do not have enough, but we have systems that could give us so much, and we've left the systems for people to actually abuse it and make money off the system. So, Minister, please, as you are considering a day that a national identity card will be issued to all Ghanaians, also consider the priority service, consider same-day service, consider other stakeholders that you could work with, who could be in the center of towns and cities and places where people could actually go and pick up their passport with a QR code and reference numbers instead of all these people flooding the passport office. I believe this will work and will work perfectly if we look into all these loopholes and consider it and introduce it in our passport acquisition. I'm going to leave issue of the passport acquisition out of. I'm going to stay out of that today, and I'm going to move on. As looking at time, we don't have much time. I have to be very smart. I'm going to move on to NPP primaries. NPP primaries, very, 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 and I will use the word very again. It's extremely, extremely hot at the moment. There is a talk of the town. The promises are coming in from Bawumie's camp. The promises are coming in from Asante-Mparey camp. I've seen Kennedy Japan. Every time they hit him, he comes back and hits twice as much. So it's very interesting. It's getting super interesting and it's getting exciting. I'm going to ask my producer to play me a video of Asante-Mparey with regards to the primaries, the promises that he's made.
2006, 2005, consistency Obia conscience be no business oil. Nene party mu chemwa. Some of me can you 2005, 2006, not constituencies, a bit running transport, a bit running taxes, a bit running commune near there, I would shop constituency. Now say me and then me see, me a travel car, and now bicycle and me quite a bit travel car. So we better the party will be stronger than the government.
Thank you, producer. If you could play me the video one more time, I will appreciate it. Thank you.
2006, 2005. Constituency behind me, Bobo, Judge, in Woman Judge, Scott. Obia constituency behind no business oil. Nene party muchemwa. Some of me can you 2005, 2006. Not constituencies, a bit running transport, a bit running taxes, a bit running commune near there, I would shop constituency. Now say me and then me see, me a travel car, and now bicycle and me quite a bit travel car. So we better the party will be stronger than the government.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I believe all of us have heard Asante-Mparey. Something doesn't sit well with me. It's one thing to campaign and promise your delegates what you're going to do. The campaigning that you want to be a flag bearer is at the end of it, you want to be a president of the nation. But it looks like their campaign is just narrowed to the NPP and what they can do for the party. Because in that speech at the church, addressing delegates, there is a saying, if you want to speak to God, you speak into the air. Wherever you stand as an aspirant flag bearer, you speak. You are addressing delegates and you are addressing Ghanaians because Ghanaians are listening to you. Not just the NPP listening to you. Not just delegates listening to you. Both the right wing and the left wing of politics are listening to you. Voters across the country are listening to you. And what worried me is what Asante-Mparey summed up with. He said, if I become flag bearer, the party will be greater than government. Let's producer, could you please play that part again?
2006, 2005. Constituency behind me, Bobo, Judge, in Woman Judge, Scott. Obia constituency behind no business oil. Nene party muchemwa. Some of me can you 2005, 2006. Not constituencies, a bit running transport, a bit running taxes, a bit running commune near there, I would shop constituency. Now say me and then me see, me a travel car, and now bicycle and me quite a bit travel car. So we better the party will be stronger than the government.
If I become what he said, I'm going to actually say exactly as he said it in the local language. Semibeye flag bearer, the party will be stronger than government. In other words, if you have faith in me and you vote me as a flag bearer, the NPP party will be stronger than the very government that you are aspiring to be president. Ghanaians, where did we get this from? I have issues with this. And I believe many Ghanaians have issues with this. Because we had Bafo Akoto, the agric minister, in his interview says similar thing. He was asked, why do you want to be a president, or why do you want to? Yes, he was asked why he wanted to be a president. And he said he wanted to be a president because he wants to be a flag bearer of his party, the NPP party. A similar statement than Alan Kwadwo Martin have just made. Because you can, and that is similar thing that we are experiencing, or a lot of Ghanaians are saying this very NPP administration are portraying. The party seems to be stronger than the government. And I believe when the NPP delegates or the NPP aspirants, flag bearers, goes out and speak like this, they are actually giving the opposition NDC ammunitions to shoot them. You are giving the opposition NDC ammunitions to shoot you because you've said it. You stood in ICC church in Fadama and you've addressed congregation of the church. Hence, you've addressed the nation. You've addressed the NPP delegates. You've addressed the NPP fraternity. And you've said that if you become a flag bearer, the party will be stronger than the government. Meanwhile, you are becoming, or you are wishing to be a president. So if your party becomes stronger than the very government that you are a leader of, what does that say to the rest of Ghanaians? The 30-odd million Ghanaians, which I believe a lot of them are not NPP voters. Your party then becomes what? Stronger than the government. Hence, Ghana will not progress. Alan Kwadwo Martin, please come again. And come and tell Ghanaians that it was a slip of tongue. Should we give you the benefit of the doubt that is a slip of tongue? Or should we categorize it as part of the sayings from people like Bafo Ekoto? I don't have a video of Dr. Bawumia, but Bawumia also, the vice president, made a similar statement, a promise to delegates. And Bawumia's promise was as simple as, if you vote me to become a flag bearer, each constituency, I'm going to employ people from there into government. And when these people are employed from there into government, they will also come back to look after some of these delegates and some of these people from those constituencies. This is serious. These are very serious statements because Ghana is for all Ghanaians. Yes, you might have been voted by a party for you to be a president, but as soon as you become a president, the Constitution allows you and gives you the mandate to be a president for all Ghanaians, not a president for the few, not a president for the very party that voted you into power. That is not how it works. Are these NPP flag bearers hopefuls giving Ghanaians a signal? And are they confirming what the opposition NDC have been saying all along? That the NPP is always been for the elite, is for the elite, and is for the elite and the elite only. because such statements is confirming that. And these are very worrying statements. If you are a middle class Ghanaian who have your business, you don't belong to the left wing or the right wing. You vote according to policies, and you vote according to what sounds great in your ears, tax breaks, things like that. You are going to actually read between the lines, and you are going to listen to people like Asante-Mparey. You are going to listen to people like Baubien's promises, Asante-Mparey's promises to his party, and you begin to question and ask yourself, what is in it for me as a citizen of the country Ghana? What is actually in it for me? It will be great to have somebody from Asante-Mparey's camp to be able to explain to us further what he meant by that. That his party will be stronger than government if he becomes a flag bearer. He did mention that the payment or the people that he will put on a payroll are not going to be on a government payroll. Because in 2005, 2006, he's actually helped so many delegates and constituencies whereby he's giving them money, they've run corn mill and what have you. And this time around, he's going to put them on his personal payroll. Can I please ask Mr. Asante-Mparey, how much is he going to earn as a president for him to have access to put people on a payroll? They are doing no work for you, just on a payroll, just because they had faith in you and they voted for you to be a flag bearer. And also, are they going to be on a payroll for life? Are they going to be on a payroll just as you become a flag bearer in 4 years, or you become a president in 4 years? These are the questions we'll be asking. And many more Ghanaians are asking. Are these worrying times for the nation? Are these signal to Ghanaians as a whole? Does this confirm some of the saying that is coming from many Ghanaians saying the NPP have now lost the plot? They've lost their ideas. They have no ideas. Have we gotten back to the NPP? Have they gotten to where Labour was 12, 13 years ago when they totally ran out of ideas? Labour, at a point, they ran out of ideas. And there've always been a saying with regards to democracy that when you leave one party on for quite a long time, it gets to a point they run out of ideas. And they begin to talk and implement or come out with policies that doesn't sit well with the ordinary citizen. We saw that during Gordon Brown era, when Gordon Brown took over Tony Blair. In those Labour era, we saw that Labour totally ran out of ideas. And today, we can see a glimpse of that in the Conservatives as well, because they've been in power too long. And we are picking the same traces also back home in Ghana. And this primaries, NPP primaries, is exposing a lot of these things that Ghanaians have to begin to ask questions and be worried that the tangent, the very trajectory that this NPP flag bearers hopeful are taking us are very dangerous. Even promising delegates to put them on a payroll, promising delegates to employ them in government, it shouldn't be part of our campaign as political parties because it's illegal. We are all here when the cash for pyramids happened. With regards to cash, which happened in Westminster, it happened right here in Westminster when people were given positions or people were donating to government and were given positions. Are we seeing the same thing in our country, Ghana? We will give Alan Kwadwo-Kyerematen's camp the benefit of the doubt because the Ghanaians want to know and the Ghanaians want to hear, and we would like a lot more insight with regards to that statement made. And I quote, "If I become a flag bearer, the party will be stronger than government," unquote. Please, producer, if you can play the video again last time for our viewers. Thank you.
We made a flag bearer 2006, 2005. Consistency behind me, but business oil. Then party no change. Some of them we can 2005, 2006. Not constituencies, they be running transport. They be running taxis. They be running commune near there. I would shop constituency. Now say me and then me see, me a travel car. And now by this kind of me quite a bit travel car. So we bear flag bearer. The party will be stronger than the government.
I quote again, "If I become a flag bearer, the party will be stronger than the government," unquote. The NPP primaries have turned to popularity contest. Worrying. We will ask Alan Kwadwo-Kyerematen's camp to come back and explain to us whether these people are going to be on a payroll the rest of their life. Is a lifetime payroll? Is it yearly? Is it or annually? Is it for the duration of his flag bearership or his being of him being a president of Ghana? No, this is not democracy. We expect better from an experienced politician like Alan Kwadwo-Kyerematen. Let's give Bawumia the benefit of the doubt that he hasn't been around politics that long. Hence, he's breaking the rules of politics. Let's just give him that benefit of the doubt. That is why he made those mistakes. But not such an experience. The one that we see within the NPP as the wisest and most experienced and the most cleanest among those aspirants, now making these statements because he wanted to match Bawumia. I believe so. It's the heat getting to Alan Kyerematen. That is why he's behaving and coming out with this. Never let the heat get to you. A great teacher taught me. Always stay on your track and stay focused. Alan, stay focused, but we need some answers. Thank you for joining me an hour now and just over an hour for joining me on our new show. First time premiering our great brand new show, Touch on the News with Fiifi, Asante-Mparey. Please join me same time next week. Next week, what we'll be doing is we'll be broadcasting from a different location. We will have live audience. It will be very interesting. So tell a friend to tell a friend And also go out there and let people know. Keep sharing it on social media platforms, share it, and also let people know there is a brand new show coming right from here, United Kingdom, where we have the longest serving political party, which is the Conservative Party, and we have one of the longest democracies ever. We are going to compare and contrast. We are going to look at how things are done in the serious jurisdiction. And we are also going to look at how things are done, how policies are introduced over there or over there in Ghana. And we are going to hold both the left wing, the right wing, the liberal. We're going to hold them very accountable on this show. Thank you for joining me this afternoon. And God bless you all. Same time next week, we will meet again. Bye now.